Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
You are listening to the Brilliance Business Show. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. Conversations with leading experts in business. And today I have a wonderful guest, Sammy Blindell. Sammy is the brand builder, and our topic today is the law of brand attraction. Sammy, welcome to the Brilliance Business Show.
Hi, Mark. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm really looking forward to a conversation with you today. Before I get started, I just need to make a legal disclaimer that Sammy is not offering legal advice or legal assistance. So let's get started with the show. Sammy, welcome to the Brilliance Business Show. Can you share with our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. Thanks, Mark. I've been branded the brand builder. I didn't really brand myself, which is fantastic. The brand building is what I've done. It's what I've always done. It's what I know. I live, breathe, eat and sleep it. Since a very young age, it was something that fascinated me. And it just became something that became a real focus in my life. I ended up building a big branding and marketing agency over many years. So about 7.5 years after building that, I then sold that in 2013. I built 5 other companies as well at the same time as that agency because I had lots of people wanting to partner with me. We went into business doing social media, which obviously supports the brand. We built a business development company because so often people think about the brand of their business, but they forget that you can have a brand without a business, but you can't have a business without a brand. So if you're the smileyest, happiest person, the person who always delivers on your promises, the person who always delivers on time or over delivers, that person, that's their brand. On the other side of things, if you don't deliver on time, if you're not delivering on your promises, if you're the most miserable person in the room, that's your brand. And people forget that there's many different types of branding. So personal brand is one of the things that we really focused on with the business development company. And so we built another 5 businesses, then another business, and it just seemed to be that I was just hooked on building businesses and serving people. It was brilliant, and we were reaching many thousands of people. We were making millions of pounds, dollars and euros for our clients, but I burned out big time. My business partner, the left-hand side of his body collapsed through stress, and then all the businesses fell on me to run them. And inevitably, I ended up in hospital, totally burned out, with severe chest pains. And that happened 3.5 months. I was in hospital 4 times, and it just got to the point where I had to make a decision about how I was going to continue to do what I do, but without all of the stress and without all of the long hours and exchanging time for money. I knew that I had lots of knowledge, but wasn't quite sure how I was going to take that out to the world and make a bigger impact than I was making just from our offices. But it was when I sold my business and really took myself through the process of, hang on, I've been branding everybody else. It's about time I branded me. I went through the process myself, and that's how to build a brand was launched. So after many years doing it for other people, finally I was doing it for myself, and that went on to become the world's largest and most valuable brand building resource for entrepreneurs of purpose-driven businesses. So that's now 6.5 years old, and the Brand Builders Club was born in 2017 because people kept saying to me, Sammy, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. So that was born, and we've got a global community, and that's amazing. We've got lots and lots of brand builders all over the world who are championing each other and doing things like creating the Law of Brand Attraction book, partnering, collaborating on products, getting each other onto each other's stages, creating shows like this one, and really doing amazing things around the world together. And out of that, One Drop movement was born, because I saw so many different networks all competing with each other instead of collaborating. And I thought, wow, like, this is crazy. Surely if we collaborate, then we'll live in a world that is much nicer and much greater than the one we live in now, just through collaboration instead of competition. So One Drop movement was born. And as a part of One Drop movement, where for the first stage is to build the movement, I've created a unity pendant which unites all of our members, and a pin badge that unites our members. And the second phase of that is to then create a membership where we get 1 million One Droppreneurs investing $1 a month in sustainable ideas that give back to the planet instead of taking away from it. So there's a lot of things going on. And in a whistle stop tour, that's how I got into what I'm doing. And that's how the book was birthed.
You have an incredible story, Sammy, and what I like there about what you have just spoken about is your honesty of building 5 businesses and actually burning out, and then you've had to take a look at what you're doing, which is great advice to many entrepreneurs, that we have to look after our health, is what I'm taking from that. And it's great making great money, building lots of business, but health should always come first. Also, you spoke about good brands and bad brands, and we are our brands, and delivering on time, over delivering, that will give us a good brand. But there are many things what we could do that could also give us a bad name, and some people out there choose to go that path as well. So in your words, Sammy, what makes a good brand and what makes a bad brand?
Ooh, that's a great question. A good brand, I mean, let's take a step back for a moment, because I think many small businesses and entrepreneurs, they think that you have to be Microsoft to have a brand. Well, really, literally, the moment you're born, you have a brand and you carry that into your business. You know, most of the time, people that I certainly connect with who are purpose driven and want to really change lives and transform them in some way and make a massive difference to people, they're the kind of people that don't realize that actually, if you don't brand yourself, someone else is going to brand you. And when I said at the beginning of the conversation, I was branded the brand builder. Well, fortunately, because I live, breathe, eat, sleep, walk and talk what I do, I only talk about brand. I don't go off topic. I mean, I've built, I'm on my 10th company now. I've got 3 global businesses right now. I've built a lot of things, and I could talk about so many different topics, but I don't. I just focus on brand. So what makes a good brand is somebody where you could cut them in half and literally they would through and through be the very thing that they are selling, that they are talking about, that they are being the very best demonstration of living the values that they tell everybody that they have. You'll know when you meet somebody whether they're congruent to the reputation they have or not. And as a PR expert, Mark, I know that you know this better than anyone I know. Your reputation is your brand, but your reputation and your brand, they are emotional. They're not hard physical things. You can't touch a reputation, but you can certainly spread that, and you can create a feeling and an energy and a spirit around a business from the brand. The branding is the part that is physical. That's the bit that you see. It's the website, it's the logo, it's the business card, it's all the things that logo goes onto, is the branding. And so often entrepreneurs and small business owners, they think that to have a brand, they've got to have the logo and the website and the business card, but that's not it, right? And they focus on all those things first. And actually, if you were to focus on what brand, what reputation is it that you want people to know you for? What do you want people to immediately think of when they think of you? If you were in a coffee shop listening to two people talking about your business and they didn't know you were there, what are the things you would want them to say consistently about you in every single conversation that they're having? Because if you don't take control of that label, you are going to leave not only your reputation, but you're going to leave money on the table as well. So for you to build trust, you've got to build credibility, and credibility creates connection, because people then want to connect with you. Connection creates conversation, because people then want to talk to you. Conversation creates conversion. And that conversion, I believe it with all of my heart, is the conversion from a stranger to a friend, not a conversion into money. I think we've got caught up, with the internet, and we've become a transactional a global unit again. We've gone from relational to transactional, and Facebook and social media, they really helped us to become relational, but this transactional energy is coming back in again. And the challenge with that is, if you're only ever a bad brand will focus only on conversions. They're only focused on sales. So if you focus on purpose rather than profit, and you make that purpose the purpose that your ideal client is on a mission in their life to achieve, if you focus on their purpose, your purpose will very quickly find you. I know a lot of people that say, oh, but I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what business to go into. Well, just keep moving. Find someone that's got a problem you can solve. Just start moving in that direction, and your purpose will find you. I promise you. But that's what happened with me. I was so focused on helping other people to achieve their purpose with my design agencies and my other companies that I actually got lost in what my purpose I wasn't even looking for my purpose. I was so busy with my head down helping them that I had no purpose, and my heart was letting me know that. And so I had to start focusing on the purpose instead of the profit. And to do that, it was something I needed to do, was get really clear on what is my vision for the life that I want. Because I've built businesses just because I can, and I'm really great at building businesses and building brands. But what life is it that I actually want these brands to give me? Because if you don't know that, then you can't build a business that gives you the life you want. All you'll end up doing is building a business that takes your life away from you. And if you get to the point like I did, working 18 to 20 hours a day, I'm not saying I don't do that now, but I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for my clients. I'm doing it for me and my brand now. It's one of those things where you start to totally lose track of the goal. You lose sight of the goal. And I wanted to have a family. I wanted to travel. I wanted to be able to leave the office without my phone ringing. I wanted to be able to just have all the simple things that money can't buy. Yet I had the dream house, the dream car, the fancy offices. We invested many thousands in architects coming in and landscaping our office and converting. It's all this money went in, and it was about the money. But actually, when I started to get focused on what's the vision for my life and how do I build a business that gives me that vision, that's going to see that through. And for me, that was starting off by building a resource, because it meant that I could add value. It meant that I could reach many lives around the world, but without me having to exchange my time for money. So I just focused on how could I build a resource. And through the resource came speaking opportunities, and that took me all around the world. So to build a really good brand, your reputation is the most important thing that you need to focus on. Don't worry about the logo, don't worry about the website, don't worry about those things. You've got to focus on your reputation first. A bad brand is a brand that has either no reputation or a terrible reputation. Almost like if you go to a restaurant and you have a bad experience. Where let's say you go to a restaurant, you have a good experience, you tell everyone about it, don't you? When you have a bad experience, you tell more people about it. But what happens is that restaurant gets so many bad reviews, inevitably the business closes. Somebody else comes in, sees an opportunity, they open up the restaurant, they rebrand it, new ownership, put a big thing out, and still nobody goes to it. because it doesn't matter how many faces you put on something that's already damaged, it is not going to work. So, I think a good brand is one that really focuses on their reputation and how they're treating people and how they're leaving the world in a better place. And a bad brand is one that only cares so much about the profit that they forget about what their customers want. They live their life only for money. And as a result of that, they never have enough and they'll always want more. So that's my interpretation of it anyway. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense, Sammy. And I'd just like to go over a few things there because I agree with what you said. It's so easy sometimes to focus on the logo and flyers. I need to get this done and this done, and they are very important. But what is more important, and I agree totally, is the values that you have and the integrity at how you build your business. And this is how you build long term and build a strong business, is with good values, good ethics, looking after the client, over delivering. And these are things that really transform businesses, because you are right, Sammy. There are people out there who are just about taking income, taking more money, and they do forget about the client. And you are so right. Bad news spreads. It may take some time, but bad news spreads. People talk. Always have good intentions. If you know who you help, you know the problems, what you solve. Go and look after your clients with empathy, love, integrity, trust. And this is how you will build a strong business. And then the business cards and all the fancy sprinklings on top come later on, I think. So you have made some great points there, Sammy, and I agree with everything what you have just said. Now, you have built a huge tribe. You have a great reputation. We've done collaborations together. I have spoken with you before, and you really do walk the walk and talk the talk. You are helping so many people. So I would like to touch on a little bit about the product and the service that you provide to your clients.
Okay. Well, the Brand Builders Club, that's really where my heart is. And that actually came about as a result of running a challenge in 2017, January 2017. I looked at my Facebook group, which had 732 members in it, which had grown organically. I hadn't invited anybody to like the group. That had happened over, I don't know, a year or so, and I hadn't really paid much attention. I'd been posting in that group, but I took a look at the group and I thought, you've got all these people that are following you, but you're not actually connecting with them in the way that you would expect to be connected with. So, Sammy, come on, time to get back. I'd been distracted working on other things. I thought, no, it's time to get back focused on the community. And, because I've been speaking around the world, I was doing all kinds of stuff. And unfortunately, sometimes we let things go if we don't prioritize them. And I hadn't prioritized that Facebook group. And I realized that I needed to. And there's many listeners out there now, I'm sure, that will resonate with this, because I thought, how am I going to engage them? I've got this group, and I know there's a lot of people that have Facebook groups. They have no idea how to monetize them. And back then, I wasn't on a mission to monetize it. And Mark, I think this is exactly why things grow around me, because I never, ever start out with the intention of making money from them. Like with the How to Build a Brand resource, I set out not to make money from that. I just wanted to start serving. And I thought, well, if I'm going to build the world's largest and most valuable brand building resource, who do I need to be to have built that? Who do I need to show up as every day? What do I need to create? What does a resource have in it? So I just started creating. And without even setting any intentions around money, it just started to come to me because people started to recognize me. It was my reputation that that people were saying, oh, you've got to go to this great resource, how to build a brand. It's got loads of resources on it. Oh, have you gone and, done your fame name checker? Have you gone and worked on your colors? All these things that we talk about. There's thousands of articles on how to build a brand. And I just set out to serve. And through serving, people started taking notice of it and asking me to speak. Well, through serving, that's what I planned to do with this group. So I thought, how can I serve in the biggest way and support the people that have joined this group, but they're liking and things, but they're not really commenting or engaging. So I need to do something that will create some engagement. Well, as you know, I like writing books. So I'd written a book that I still haven't published yet, called Daily Branding Tips, and it was giving people just one thing to do for 15 minutes every day. Turn the page the next day, get on with that next thing. Turn the page the next day, get on with the next thing. So I'm like a virtual brand and marketing director in your pocket, right? That was the idea of this. It actually started as an idea for an app. And then I thought, well, if I've got to create it as a day-by-day thing, then I might as well write it as a book first and then turn it into an app. As you get to know me, you'll know that I really love repurposing stuff. I don't like creating something and then leaving it. I like turning it into as many things as possible. So I thought, okay, well, what if I were to take, I'd written about 180 days of this book by that point. And I thought, what if I just took 30 days from there? And I'll just run it as a live challenge, and I'll make some nice prizes. I think the first prize was to come and work with me at my house in France for a weekend, and I put all these nice big prizes on it. Anyway, I just put this post out in the group. I had no idea, seriously. I didn't do any lead capture on it. I didn't do anything because all I wanted to do was have fun and give everybody a really good experience. So I run this challenge. And on day one, we start at 732 members. By day 30, I had over 3,500 members in that group because everybody just was inviting everybody else to become a part of it. So in 30 days, it went to over 3,500 members of that group, highly engaged. By the end of that challenge, I was running an entrepreneur's cruise, a brand building cruise around the coast of Mexico. And Bob Doyle from The Secret was one of my speakers on that cruise. And I remember Bob and I sitting on the beach, and I'm saying to Bob, I've got all these people that are like wanting me to now support them, and I don't know what to support them with. And he's like, well, have you got a membership product? And I said, no, I haven't got anything like that yet. Anyway, I got my brain ticking, and about 5 o'clock the next morning, I woke up and I just thought, I've got to do something about this because it's coming to the end of the challenge. And if I don't support these people with what to do next, I'm going to commit one of the biggest forms of what I call brandalism, which is I've trained everybody what they need, and now they're going to go get it from someone else. So we need to avoid brandalism. I need to create something. And I had an idea about 2 years previously from my ex-business partner. He came up with Brand Builders Club. And I thought to myself, well, I'm not ready for that. I didn't want to create again, I'm just so not about the money, to my detriment sometimes, I guess. But I feel that I'm winning overall because my heart is good and I sleep well at night. I remember thinking to myself, well, I don't want to create a product just so we can make money from it. I don't want to create a club just so we can do something. When the time is right, the time will be right. And I felt in my heart the time is right now for Brand Builders Club. So on the last day of the cruise, Bob and I finished delivering what we were doing. Everyone went snorkeling, and I ran up the beach to create what I would consider to be the worst sales video ever created, because it was the first one I'd ever done. And so I go out, I create this sales video and say, hey, I think it's time to launch Brand Builders Club. I'll be your virtual branding and marketing director. Let's get you into a group. I'll tell you what to do every day. You go away and do it. And I sent the video to my team and I said, can you, create an Infusionsoft link and stuff like that, and I'll get it out on my page. And that went out, and then we were at sea for 2 days, so I had no idea what would happen. When I got back to New Orleans, I remember picking up my phone and all of a sudden all these messages coming through, because I had no reception while I was at sea. all of a sudden all these messages, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got members. I remember that moment thinking, oh cracky, this is a goer. I need to do something with this. And so I just started serving. And Brand Builders Club originally was me being the mentor and the brand and marketing director to all of these entrepreneurs and small business owners who just wanted to be told every day what to do so they could go away, do it, get shizazzle done, and then get on with the rest of their day. So they were exponentially growing their business and putting the right things in place to build their reputation, create an honest brand from a place of integrity, and start really growing their business. But within 9 months, I'd invited them. I was running events every quarter by that point, and I put a shout out to my members. I had some places available on my event that I was running in London, and I said, hey, brand builders, I think we had about 70 brand builders by that point all over the world, because it was online at that time. I said, I've got these places available on my next course. If any of you want a free ticket, I'll be glad to have you come. Anyway, I didn't realize, right, Mark, I couldn't get people to travel from Manchester to Leeds, which is like 30 miles up the road. I had people that flew in from Jamaica, America, all over Europe. I had somebody that came in from Malaysia. I was shocked at the community had obviously built so much engagement, and they were joint venturing and partnering, and they were getting each other on each other's shows. They were saying, hey, I've got a friend who needs a speaker in this, who wants to go and do that. And it was brilliant. And the group had become this amazing family where they literally had each other's back. The whole philosophy became about championship of each other. And honestly, I just watched that. It was like long lost family meeting each other after not seeing each other for 20 years. Literally, they'd all built these really strong relationships online, and all of a sudden they were in a room together. I've got goosebumps all over just remembering that moment. I remember standing there thinking, I'm never running an external event again. From now on, it's going to be Brand Builders Club members only. They can invite a guest if they want to, but that's the only way to be able to get into this from now on. And that's what I did. And so we started running quarterly events, and all of our members would fly in from all over the world. And then I said, hey, we should get some of you speaking. And so we ended up going out to America and launching Brand Builders Club in America, so that they had a physical place that we could run events as well. And that turned into Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Orlando, Atlanta. Then we launched in New York, and it just kept growing and growing. And then up to before Corona, we were running up to 34 events a month. Sometimes there'd be an event running in Brisbane, Australia at the same time that I'd be running from my team. I'd be running an event in the Netherlands or London, and all these events were running, and Brand Builders Club members were coming together all over the world to continue partnering, collaborating, and working on what's the next way we're going to massively increase our brand exposure. And so I'm so in love with this, and I could talk about it all day, but that's how it's grown. And we've now, I really got to learn early on in that first 9 months who the perfect person for the Brand Builders Club was, because we had some people that were coming in, and this is why I talk about things the way I do, that were focused on the money. And money follows impact. Income follows impact. But the problem is, if all they're focused on is income, they don't care about the impact. And I care so much about the impact. I had to get really focused. And at the beginning of 2018, I set a goal to positively impact on 4 million lives that year. And I thought, well, what is the fastest, easiest way to do that? And when I worked it out, I thought, well, all I've got to do is work with 1,000 entrepreneurs who really care about what making a difference, who have the same kind of values as me. If I work with 1,000 people who want to positively impact on 4,000 lives each, which, let's face it, a good video, when they're told how to do it, can do that, I can achieve my impact number really quickly. And this is how One Drop started to come about. It was like, okay, if I'm a drop and Mark's a drop, and we bring our drops together, imagine the ripple that can be created. Whereas if we try and do it individually, that's hard work. So why don't I start reaching out to other brand builders and saying, let's partner, let's collaborate, let's get things out there. So we started running mini courses together. We started creating books. We started to, whenever I did a tour, I took brand builders with me, and we had brand builders coming to each location and meeting hundreds of brand builders, just on that one tour. And they were meeting all the people they needed to be able to set them up, with an amazing reputation and continue building their list for at least 5 years, So for me, Brand Builders Club is really where my heart is, and what we realized was it is absolutely for purpose-driven entrepreneurs who are change makers, that really want to make a massive impact, that want to. And my number has gone up now, so my number is 8 million this year. So the level of brand builder has now increased. It has to be right for a purpose-driven change maker that wants to positively impact on at least 8,000 lives over the next 12 months. And that is the kind of person who wants to take action, who'll do what they need to do to get done what they need, and to be that person who really cares about making a difference, not just about making a profit. And that's a really key thing. And then through Corona, we had a lot of people that reached out to us and said, can you please help? We can't afford to join your Brand Builders Club, but we need help. And I thought, well, how can I take a little pinch of magic from Brand Builders Club and give that to smaller entrepreneurs and business owners who need that help, but they just want to get started on the right track, with the intention that they grow into a VIP level of Brand Builders Club. And so we're literally just launching that. So that's Brand Builders Club Light membership, where we meet every Tuesday and we mastermind for an hour of power. And there's stuff that goes on in that group on a weekly basis, and all of my mentors from the Brand Builders Club VIP program, of which I would love for you to be one of them, Mark. We're talking about that now, bringing that into the Brand Builders Club Light program, so that members can create the purpose, they can create the impact, they can create the income that enables them to invest at the next level, which is going to take them global. So that's really where my heart is. I've created over 1,000 mini courses and masterclasses. I've got, I think, 75 products now that I've developed from what I've got between my ears, and turned that into, products and programs that people, no matter what stage of business they're at, they can move further faster, and they don't have to do it on their own. So we've got lots of things out there, including the Law of Brand Attraction book. We've got books, but where my real heart is Brand Builders Club, because I get to see the difference that I'm making in the world. I get to be the drop for each and every one of my members, and I get to see them going out and putting their drop and their ripple effects out in the world. And that is a feeling that I never ever got when I was building my agency and working with corporates, because all I was doing was making the marketing director or the CEO look good. With this, I get to look my members in the eye, even if we can't meet physically right now. I get to look at them in the eye over Zoom, and I get to see the change that I'm making in the world. And that, to me, is good brand. It's being able to see the difference that you're making, and celebrating that. Sorry, Mark, I could talk all day about this. I'm so in love with it.
You touched on some really great points, and you going back, it's been great listening to your successful journey, and sometimes you do have to connect the dots backwards to see how you are where you are today. And listening to your dots going backwards, I just like how it flowed all together and comes together to the end destination where you are now, and the things that you're achieving, Sammy. I see in the beginning of your journey, it was very much you doing all the training. But what I'm seeing now later on, as I've come into the equation of Brand Builders Club, is you're giving all your members platforms to shine their light, to help people in the community as well. So even though you're at the forefront of it, you're giving all these members their platform to shine their lights and to offer their products and services and collaborate with others. So just collaboration at its best, and that's why you are the person to go to with everything branding. I absolutely love you, Sammy. Now, my next question, and it was great because you already mentioned Bob Doyle as well, which he's brought you into the Law of Brand Attraction book. Nice knowing where you met Bob to get him into this amazing project. I want to know a little bit about the Law of Brand Attraction book, which is making real waves everywhere. Can you tell us about how the Law of Brand Attraction come about, and tell us a little bit about the book?
Yeah, I'd love to. Well, the law of brand attraction came about as a result of, in the Brand Builders Club, we, in the VIP level, we deliver a mini course every week. So one of our members might say, Sammy, I really need help with my personal branding, right? I don't know, I'm creating videos now, I'm getting on stage a lot. I need to look at my personal image. And that actually happened, right? So we're delivering that mini course this week live, and all the members in the Brand Builders Club that are interested in that topic, they go through it live, and then the recording goes into the online learning center, and then anybody can get it at any time. So about 6 weeks ago, we'd just finished delivering what we call them a sprint, because we do them for like an hour of power in the morning, get it done, get back on with everything else. So we're exponentially growing our businesses. And we just literally finished delivering a sprint on how to create the perfect product that everybody's going to want. All of your ideal customers are going to want this, because there's a way of planning it, there's a way of researching it, there's a way of creating it, and there's a way of getting it out there. And so I just finished delivering this sprint. And one of the things that I like to have fun. I like to have fun, and I like to get my hands dirty. I think that's one of the things that my members love, because, I haven't just created something where there's Sammy at the top and then nobody can access her because everything is online. No, I've actually systemized and automated everything so that I can be there physically for my members. And so I'm using systemization and automation in a totally different way to how some other people do it, but it's what's right for you, and this is right for me. I'm a real people person, I'm a community person. So we just finished delivering this sprint, and one of the things I did to have some fun with this sprint was I put an offer out, and I said, I'm looking for one brand builder to work on and to create your product over the course of 5 days. We're going to create your product. We're going to come up with the idea for it. We're going to create the content for it. We're going to film it, and we're going to have it ready in a program, and we'll choose which one is right for the program depending on which your product is. And it's going to be ready to sell by the end of the week. I'm looking for one brand builder, so you're going to have to pitch to me. Why should your product be the product that I work on? Anyway, I had 7 of the brand builders out of all the brand builders around the world. 7 of them were brave enough to message me with their pitch. And some of them I went back and said, okay, can you redo this bit and then pitch it again? And so we went back and forth a little bit, which was getting their idea clear on what the product was going to be. Anyway, I decided that I couldn't pick one, so I worked with all of them. So I had 7 Brand Builders Club members that I was personally working on their product with them for that week. And I got to the end of the week, and I live on a boat. Greg and I, we focused on experiences and living life, truly living life now. He built 5 companies. I've built all my companies. We're kind of done with being in an office and teams and things like that. Now we run our business from a boat. We bought a big barge in January. We now travel full time. And so I was sitting up in the wheelhouse, and it was a lovely, beautiful summer evening. It's about 6 weeks ago, drinking a glass of wine. And I was just thinking about how proud I was of all these members that had created their products. And there you go, we've got these little mini brands that are now being birthed out into the world. And all of them were totally different products or programs. And I thought to myself, that was for the 7 people that I physically worked with. And obviously all the other brand builders got to watch how we did that and the process of creation, so they could see actually how easy it is to do it. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I bet none of them that have gone through it, they're not going to press the button, because they think that creating a product is actually harder than it is. Because a lot of experts would try and have you believe that so they can sell you their big high-end program, right? But it's really not that difficult. And I was sitting there thinking, how can I prove to the Brand Builders Club members that it is easy to create a product, that you can create something that makes a world scale difference by taking what you know and turning it into something that can reach many lives quickly? What can we do? And I started thinking about it, and I didn't come up with the answer, but I started percolating on it. The next morning, out of the blue, a really good friend of mine, like I operate the law of attraction all the time. I'm actually scared to have a thought because it kind of manifests really fast. And so like there I am on a Saturday morning. I didn't have anything planned that day. And then a friend of mine who used to be a coach for me in one of my other businesses just calls me out of the blue and asks me how I'm doing. And so I told him, and we were having a really good chat. He said, "So what's next for you?" I said, "I don't know. I was sitting here last night thinking about how I could prove to my members how easy it is to create a product." And he said, "Well, what about writing a book?" I said, yeah, I suppose that's a product. We could write a book. He said, "Well, you do know I'm a publisher, don't you?" I said, "I do." He said, "Well, why don't we get the brand builders? Why don't we get a group of brand builders together and we'll do something like that?" And I said, "All right, leave it with me. I'll think about it." Anyway, within about an hour, I thought, well, there's so many people around the world, so many businesses right now who are broke and broken and crushed, and they've lost all their contracts. If they're a speaker, there's no events happening around the world right now. They've lost all of the business that they had in their pipeline. Their cash flow has gone through the floor. How are they going to pay for their mortgages? There's people really seriously about to lose everything. And yet all of my members in Brand Builders Club, they're all flourishing because they're all building online businesses and online products. And that they're taking what they do online. Doesn't mean they're stopping delivering the way they were before. They still do face-to-face stuff. Like me, they like to get their hands dirty and they like to do stuff with their clients, but they'd protected their business because they'd spread the risk. And that's something that I'm very much about. Spread the risk, create something that's global. If something happens in your currency, you've still got all these other currencies around the world that are strong. You've still got money coming in. And so that's one of the things I really drill home into my members. So they're all flourishing. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if A, we could prove how quick it is to create a product, B, we can prove the power of collaboration, how something can come together really fast with the power of a team, build your dream with a team, which is what Brand Builders is all about. C, we'd be able to support other people who don't have access to what we've got. So how can we help them? How can we support them? And the other thing for me is there's always got to be a give back thing or a pay it forward. So I thought, well, if we're going to work with and support vulnerable and at-risk business owners, then I want to support vulnerable and at-risk children who have no safe place, because school used to be their safe place. And obviously through Corona, all of those safe options that they did have now been taken away. And so we decided to give all of the proceeds from the book to the Clear Sky Children's Charity, which is a children's charity based in England. And so what they do is they support children who are going through massive trauma, or maybe their parents have died, and they're carrying all this trauma through into everything they do. And if we can get to them at a younger age, then they don't go on to fail at school or become criminals or get into drugs or getting into those wrong groups of people. If we can start early, then we can support them to really live a life where maybe they'll become the entrepreneur like me that gives back to others one day. So we set about doing that, and within an hour of me putting a post out into the Brand Builders Club group saying I want 22 entrepreneurs who are willing to be vulnerable and share a painful experience you've been through in business and how you overcome that, and what would the strategy specifically be for anybody who's going through that right now to be able to continue building their brand through this process. What would it be? So within an hour I had the 22 brand builders, and Andrew said to me, the publisher, he said, well, what are you going to call it? And I just sat with it for a little while, and I thought law of brand attraction, because all of this is about attracting the life, the business, and the customers that will help you to live that life that you set for yourself as a vision. which goes back to all the things we were talking about earlier in this interview. And so I said, it's going to be the law of brand attraction. And as soon as those words came out of my mouth, I thought, if this is about the law of attraction, I've got to get my friends Marie Diamond and Bob Doyle involved. I've got many friends from The Secret, but they were the two that really resonated with me, who are building brands that I really connect with, and we've spoken a lot together. And Bob was my MC. I run a big conference every year, the Changemakers Summit, and so he was my MC in Manchester last year. Marie, she spoke at that event the year before. So we've done a lot of things together. And I reached out to them, and very quickly they said, yes, absolutely, we're in. What do we do? Where do we start? And the key thing about this product was, because this was the thing, they all said yes, and then I dropped it on them. I said, okay, so we're going to create this product, we're going to create this book, and here's the thing: perfection is poverty. There are millions of lives right now who haven't got time for you to get your hair done, to have the perfect makeup, to go and get an extra qualification, and to prove that you're an expert in what you do. They haven't got time for that. Their lives are being crushed. Their businesses are falling apart right now before their eyes. They need you to step up and get this information to them now. I'm giving you 7 days to turn this around. And we're going to, each of you, you're going to write your chapter. And I was so structured in the way that I gave them the structure for creating their chapter. So, I mean, they could create their chapter on whatever they wanted to, and I spoke to each and every one. We had lots of meetings. I personally decided not to write a chapter in the book because I wanted to focus my time on really not only getting the right messages across and making sure the right stories were in place and that everything flowed. And I was very much sat in the seat of the reader. So I wanted them to come away from this book not only feeling empowered, but also feeling like, wow, I've got a whole book there full of strategies that I can implement straight away that cost me nothing other than my time, that I can really get out there. I can start making an impact, and therefore that income will follow that impact. So yeah, I didn't expect, I have to say, I didn't expect that they would all do it. But they did. And, you know, I think, well, when I run an event, even if I've only got 20 people in a room at an event, it's like herding cats trying to get them back from lunch. But so I thought, how am I going to get 24 people who are thought leaders all around the world that are busy, that have got all this stuff going on for them? How am I going to get them all to deliver this on time? But I tell you what, they all did. And each and every chapter, I just sat here in tears, just like so proud at their journey and what they've come through, and how they are so willing to give back and pay it forward. It was just again, I've got goosebumps all over me. It was just the most empowering experience. So not only did we get to support many thousands of business owners straight away. I mean, we published the book, and we only had the Kindle version on offer at the time because Amazon were really backed up with printing, so we couldn't get the books out fast enough. So we launched the Kindle version, and we had nearly 3,000 sales in the first 24 hours of this book. And all of us authors were like, wow, that went really fast. We shot to #1 in some of the hardest categories to get into. Within 6 hours of launching the book, we knocked Think and Grow Rich off the top charts. We knocked Brené Brown off the top of the charts. Like all these serious books that have got me where I am, all of a sudden, like we're knocking these change makers off the top of the charts, and we're all like, wow, this is the power of collaboration. This is the power of, you know, 25 people all thinking the same thing at the same time and giving complete 100% attention to that one thing. And I mean, it's gone on. That was just within the first 24 hours. It's gone on to reach so many people. We've had the most amazing messages and reviews. You know, the authors are all sparkling. I made sure that every single one of them had a fame name. I made sure they all had a good biography, and it was good for all of them. You know, about half of the authors didn't have some of those things in place before, so they weren't ready for PR. They weren't, you know, we had one member who only joined the Brand Builders Club 5 weeks before I put this offer out. So she hadn't gone through any of the process yet. So it was brilliant for her because it gave her the opportunity to think, well, what brand is it that I do want out in the world? What do I want my one drop to be? Who do I want to be as a change maker and an entrepreneur? Who do I want to be in the world? How do I want to show up? How do I want to be remembered? And what do I want to be remembered for? And so it was just the most amazing experience. So literally, within 8 days, we went from idea to published. And within 10 days, the paperback then came out. And gosh, Mark, it's been a whirlwind to tell you. Literally, it went from, let's just show everybody what can be done and how much impact you can make and how quickly you can create a product and bring it together and publish it. Let's just show everybody how that can be done, to, oh my gosh, literally the impact that is made already, the amount of children that we've been able to support through the charity. That charity was massively underfunded. Now it's not, it's not to say that it can't, keep getting that funding, but we're still going to keep promoting the book. We're still going to get it out there, reaching lives. And this is just volume 1. I've got lots of brand builders that said, damn, I didn't get to the thing quick enough. They didn't see it quick enough. So we have got book 2 planned, which is going to be actually half and half entrepreneurs. And so we're going to have 11 Brand Builders Club members who are paying it forward to 11 teenpreneurs. So these are teenagers who are under 20, who have created a brilliant business, who can pay forward their knowledge and information and strategy to other teenagers like them, who, like my 18-year-old right now, the world is very different. She was going off to university in September. Well, universities don't know if they're opening. Everybody left months before they were supposed to. There's a lot of teenagers that are in complete flux right now, and I think it's our duty to pay it forward to them, to support them and inspire them that, look, if you don't want to get a job, or if there aren't jobs available for you, bearing in mind what we've just gone through, there are lots of business owners who, big businesses who have now, they've furloughed their staff. In some cases, they've gone under, so there is no business anymore. So there's lots of adults that are already looking for work, let alone, our teenagers that are coming out of school, and all of a sudden there's no opportunity for them because everybody else is fighting over those opportunities. So that's our book number 2 in the making. We haven't started it yet, but that's what we're doing. So we're looking for some entrepreneurs who are below 20 years old. I think we've got a good list of them already, so that we can really pay it forward to other people of their generation and just show them it can be done. You can do it. There's really nothing special about the processes we're using, but what we are doing is consistent. What we are doing is relentless, and what we are doing is focused, and what we are doing is making sure that we're using strategies that we know 100% work. And we can only know that by being around people who are doing it. So it's about modeling success. And so, we've got number 2 is already being percolated, Mark. Watch this space.
What I love about you, Sammy, is your passion for what you are doing. You are truly about serving, and you're already working on this next book. You've got it all planned. I want to backtrack a little bit. The law of brand attraction. Go to thelawofbrandattraction.com. We have Marie Diamond and Bob Doyle from The Secret. Sammy Blindell as being the orchestra of this amazing project. Some great thought leaders. There's definitely going to be someone in this book that you resonate with, who really will help you to move forwards in business and in life. It's bringing business and the law of attraction together, and once you work those together, it works beautifully. Not only is it a book that you buy, there's a whole community with the book. So when you get into the lawofbrandattraction.com. It will give you the option to join the community group behind the book as well. So it will open you up to community. The proceeds are for charity, which is another big benefit. So please, please, please go to the lawofbrandattraction.com. Sammy, I really, really do admire the work you're doing, the service, how you're helping others, your values, your integrity. And that is why you have built a great brand, because without those things, you will be brandalized, as you would say, Sammy. Now, we're coming up to an hour. It's gone so quickly. The last question I will ask you, Sammy, is there anything we did not cover that you would like to share with our listeners? And also, how can people connect with you?
Thanks, Mark. I think that the key thing is that you can go to Amazon and buy the book, and Amazon will take 60% of the sale, and they will they'll deliver the book, which is brilliant, but it means we're less able to support the people that go through the process of this book if they go direct to Amazon. So you're quite right. If you go to the lawofbrandattraction.com, we're able to then support you as a community as well. So if you go to that website, and you'll still order the book through Amazon when you go through the website, but if you do register to be part of the community, what it'll do is give you access to then come and hang out with all of us as authors. And we're putting some special stuff together now that will really support people that are going through the book or have got questions as they go through the book. It's a way of you being able to ask us directly. I don't know many books that actually have that on the back of them. They tend to be kind of one and done. Here's a book, go and read it, do what you like with it. But with us, again, we're all about packing your parachute. So each and every person that buys the book, we want to give back. We want to say thank you for believing us. Thank you for supporting this project. Thank you for paying it forward to these kids, because it means a lot to us to do that. And, how can we pay it forward to you now as somebody who's reading the book and will go out there and be that one drop for many, many other people? And, just to go to that website, I think is the best thing. And when you get through that, you'll receive an invitation to come and join the group. And then you can connect with me and all of the authors from the book in that group. So definitely go to that website and let's support each of you to go out there, be the brand you want to see in the world, be that drop for all those people that you want to make that ripple effect for, and just do it consistently. Be that brand you want to see in the world. Don't try and be somebody else, because you are you, perfectly you, and perfectly true to you. And as long as you stay that way, you'll always be building a great brand.
Sammy, what a great way to finish the show today. Everyone, the website address once more is the lawofbrandattraction.com. Sammy, thank you for being a guest on the Brilliance Business Show.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
It's been my pleasure, Sammy. You have been listening to the Brilliance Business Show. Conversations with leading experts in business.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.